Are you sure everything you know about BTS is accurate, or have you just been scratching the surface? When Ellen DeGeneres put them on the spot, the answer defied every standard K-pop stereotype. What really happens when global superstars face the ultimate unfiltered late-night test? Let's dive in. Number 7. The Hidden Mastermind RM. While most people associate late-night show humor with loud physical gags or rehearsed punchlines, the reality of BTS's appearances on American television reveals a completely different dynamic driven by intellectual agility. When BTS stepped onto the set of the Ellen DeGeneres Show, they were entering an environment notorious for catching international celebrities off guard with rapid-fire English questions and unexpected comedic pranks. For Kim Namjoon, known professionally as RM, this wasn't just a promotional interview. It was a high-stakes demonstration of cross-cultural leadership and spontaneous wit. As the only fluent English speaker in the group during their initial American television debut in 2017, the entire weight of communication fell squarely on his shoulders. What made his performance legendary wasn't just his ability to translate complex Korean cultural concepts into digestible English, but how he utilized humor as a strategic tool to protect his members while keeping millions of viewers thoroughly entertained. The factual baseline of RM's intelligence is well documented, featuring an IQ of 148 and a top 1% score on the National University entrance exams in South Korea. But the true test of that intellect happened live on American television. During their interviews, Ellen frequently leaned into her signature style of questioning, probing into their personal lives, dating histories, and the overwhelming chaos of their global fandom. Instead of delivering stiff, PR-trained responses, RM immediately read the room and deflated the tension with self-deprecating humor and sharp observational comedy. When Ellen famously asked if the group had ever hooked up with an army, RM didn't stumble. He carefully navigated the English slang, laughed it off, and redirected the narrative by explaining the profound emotional connection they share with fans, turning a potentially awkward tabloid moment into a masterclass in public relations. His humor is deeply intellectual, relying on wordplay, situational awareness, and an incredible ability to read the underlying subtext of American humor. He routinely acted as a shield, intercepting complex questions and translating them for the other members with lightning-fast speed, ensuring that no one felt left out or exposed on a live global stage. This specific dynamic became a focal point of their late-night appearances, where Ellen herself openly marveled at how a young artist from Ilson could masterfully command a foreign late-night format with the poise of a seasoned diplomat. The humor RM brings to the table isn't about making funny faces or relying on slapstick. It is the humor of a sharp mind that knows exactly how to control a room, break cultural barriers, and turn a high-pressure interview into a comfortable, witty conversation. It was this exact intellectual sharpness that forced Western media to realize BTS was not just another highly manufactured pop group, but a project led by a genuine intellectual powerhouse. His quick thinking proved that the funniest person in the room isn't always the one making the most noise, but the one who completely understands the rules of the game before anyone else even starts playing. Number 6. The Audacious Wit, Jin. While many expect a global superstar to maintain a carefully curated, serious image on major American television networks, Kim Suk-jin completely upended that expectation by weaponizing absolute confidence as a comedic tool. When BTS returned to the Ellen DeGeneres Show, the pressure to conform to Western late-night standards was immense, yet Jin chose to lean heavily into his natural, unfiltered charm. Known widely for his self-proclaimed title of Worldwide Handsome, a moniker he birthed during a 2017 Billboard interview and confidently repeated on Ellen's stage, his humor is deeply rooted in subverting traditional idol modesty. On a platform where guests often act overly polite, Jin's comedic brilliance shone through his dramatic theatricality and his absolute fearlessness in breaking the language barrier using pure charisma. During their segments, when Ellen would probe the group with intense questions or orchestrate her famous jump scare pranks, such as having a staff member leap out of a hidden box disguised as a fan. Jin's reaction was objectively the most explosive, capturing the exact blend of physical comedy and authentic emotion that late-night television thrives on. His signature, high-pitched windshield wiper laugh and his bold, direct English declarations completely dismantled the rigid atmosphere of a standard promotional tour. Instead of waiting for a translator or looking to RM for guidance, Jin directly engaged with Ellen, using broad gestures, exaggerated flying kisses, and confident eye contact to command the studio audience's attention. This wasn't merely accidental humor. It was a highly effective, deliberate strategy to alleviate the group's collective tension on a high-stakes global broadcast. His intelligence manifests in his profound situational awareness, knowing exactly when to play the comedic foil and when to ground the group with his underlying maturity as the oldest member. By openly embracing the absurdity of the situations Ellen placed them in, Jin turned potential cultural awkwardness into a universally understood language of joy, proving that true wit doesn't require complex vocabulary when you possess an undeniable, magnetic command over your own presence. His fearless approach to American television permanently shattered the myth that international artists must remain passive during foreign interviews, leaving an indelible mark on late-night history by showing that supreme confidence, when paired with a brilliant sense of timing, can win over any audience on Earth. Number 5. The Sharp Subverter, Suga. On a mainstream American late-night stage that thrives on high-energy reactions and constant validation, Min Gi chose to completely disrupt the template by delivering a masterclass in stoic, deadpan wit. When BTS sat on Ellen's couch, surrounded by screaming fans and the high-octane energy of Hollywood television, Suga's comedic brilliance emerged from his absolute refusal to be fazed by the spectacle. While Western hosts often expect international guests to either overcompensate with exaggerated enthusiasm or melt under the pressure of rapid-fire English, Suga leaned into his natural identity as a sharp, highly observant realist. His humor on the show was deliberately minimalist, utilizing subtle facial expressions, quiet timing, and short, razor-sharp Korean phrases that completely subverted the host's expectations. A defining, historically accurate demonstration of this occurred when Ellen directly asked the group if they had ever secretly dated or hooked up with an army. As the question was translated, causing a wave of visible nervousness and polite laughter among the members, Suga didn't hesitate for a second. He looked directly forward, remained completely unbothered, and shut down the entire trap of a question with a single, legendary phrase in Korean. "We do it every day." This single sentence, delivered with an utterly straight face, was an absolute stroke of genius. It was witty enough to satisfy the entertainment value of the show, sharp enough to bypass a messy tabloid headline, and deeply intelligent because it reframed the entire concept of dating into the daily, dedicated artistic relationship BTS maintains with their global fandom. By doing this, Suga single-handedly took control of a high-pressure narrative without needing to speak fluent English. His intelligence is deeply rooted in this exact type of strategic economy. He observes the chaotic energy around him, filters out the noise, and strikes with a perfectly timed punchline that carries immense weight. Even during Ellen's notorious jump scare pranks, where a hidden staff member suddenly burst out of a table to terrify the group, Suga's reaction stood out not because he screamed the loudest, but because his immediate recovery and deadpan side-eye perfectly captured the essence of a man who refuses to let a Hollywood gimmick break his composure. He proved to millions of viewers worldwide that true comedic genius doesn't require loud theatricality or a massive vocabulary. Instead, it belongs to the person who can completely disarm a room with nothing more than a perfectly timed pause, a sharp gaze, and a brilliant understanding of human psychology. Number 4. The Electric Chameleon, J-Hope. On the highly scrutinized stage of Western late-night television, where language barriers can often cause foreign artists to appear reserved or overly cautious, Jungkook chose a completely different path by turning his entire physical presence into a universal language of sharp, high IQ entertainment. When BTS entered the set of the Ellen DeGeneres Show, J-Hope immediately understood that late-night American television is a visual and energetic medium that demands immediate connection, and he delivered this by utilizing a brilliant mix of hyper-aware physical comedy and spontaneous verbal wit. Known as the group's main dancer and dance leader, his intelligence is deeply rooted in an extraordinary spatial and situational awareness. He reads the room with the precision of a choreographer, mapping out exactly how to react to maximize the entertainment value of every single second on screen. When Ellen engaged the group, J-Hope did not simply sit passively waiting for translations. Instead, he used his entire body to mirror, react, and amplify the comedic rhythm of the interview, breaking out into impromptu, perfectly timed dance moves or delivering expressive, open-faced reactions that instantly endeared him to the live studio audience and millions watching at home. This physical genius was fully demonstrated during Ellen's infamous jump scare segments, which are designed to catch celebrities at their most vulnerable and unpolished. When the hidden actor burst from the box, J-Hope's reaction was an absolute masterpiece of physical theater, sending him tumbling off the couch in a display of pure, unadulterated shock that was so perfectly expressive it became an instant, globally viral meme. What makes this intelligent rather than merely accidental is his immediate, brilliant recovery. Within a split second of hitting the floor, he transformed his genuine fright into a comedic performance, laughing along with the host and using the moment to elevate the energy of the entire segment. Furthermore, his verbal contributions, though delivered in a language he was still mastering at the time, were profoundly strategic. He consistently utilized high-energy English catchphrases like, "I'm your hope, you're my hope, I'm J-Hope," not just as a standard greeting, but as a reliable psychological anchor to instantly command the audience's applause and dictate the emotional tone of the room. He understood perfectly that in American show business, confidence and high vibration are currency, and by willingly becoming the group's primary source of dynamic energy, he shielded his more introverted members from the pressure of having to perform outside their comfort zones. His humor is deeply empathetic and highly calculated, deliberately designed to break down the invisible wall between international idols and a Western mainstream audience that might initially find them unfamiliar. By combining his innate rhythmic genius with a sharp understanding of American pop cultural dynamics, J-Hope proved that true comedic brilliance on a global stage does not require flawless syntax or complex monologues. It requires the profound intelligence of an artist who can command the joy of an entire room using nothing but his unparalleled charisma, split-second timing, and an absolute mastery over his own physical expression. Number 3. The Empathic Observer, Jimin. On a high-profile Western media stage like the Ellen DeGeneres Show, which is engineered around rapid-fire pacing, sharp interruptions, and unpredictable comedic setups, Park Ji-min demonstrated a completely unique form of brilliant, high IQ entertainment that relies on profound emotional intelligence and meticulous situational observation. While many public figures feel compelled to dominate a late-night interview by speaking loudly or constantly fighting for the microphone, Jimin's comedic genius shines brightest in his deliberate, hyper-aware restraint. He actively tracks the subtle shifts in the room's energy, the host's body language, and the comfort levels of his fellow members with absolute precision. When BTS sat on Ellen's couch, navigating a barrage of complex English questions and hidden studio pranks, Jimin constantly utilized his razor-sharp perception to deliver perfectly timed, quiet subversions that completely disarmed the host. His wit is deeply rooted in this intense focus. Instead of forcing punchlines through a language barrier, he uses incredibly expressive, subtle facial cues, soft laughter, and precise physical posturing to communicate entire narratives of humor directly to the camera and the live audience. A definitive, verified example of this empathic intelligence occurred during their highly publicized interactions with Ellen regarding their personal lives. As the host pressed for specific, sensationalized answers about their relationships, Jimin did not panic or freeze. Instead, he would look directly at Ellen, flash a highly knowing, incredibly charming smile, and use playful gestures, such as hiding his face in his hands or leaning into the adjacent members, to playfully mock the intensity of the interrogation itself, effectively turning the pressure back onto the host without uttering a single aggressive word. This specific reaction pattern requires an immensely sophisticated understanding of media dynamics, as he successfully fulfills the entertainment industry's demand for a highly engaging, viral reaction while completely protecting the group's privacy and maintaining their professional boundaries. Furthermore, Jimin's humor possesses an incredibly grounding, collective quality. He frequently acts as a subtle emotional anchor on stage, using his quick wit to support his members when a joke lands unexpectedly or when a prank disrupts the flow of the interview. During Ellen's notorious jump scare segments, where a hidden staff member violently erupted from a nearby table to terrify the group, Jimin's reaction was a brilliant study in split-second emotional processing. Though visibly startled, his immediate instinct was to dissolve into an authentic, incredibly infectious laughter while physically moving to comfort the more shaken members next to him, seamlessly transforming a moment of pure shock into an endearing, highly rewatchable display of genuine camaraderie. He understood perfectly that a Western audience craves authenticity above all else, and by allowing his genuine vulnerability, warmth, and playful skepticism to show through, he broke down the rigid, highly manufactured stereotypes often associated with international pop stars. His intelligence is not loud, boastful, or performative. It is the deep, highly calculating intelligence of an artist who understands that true comedic timing is about rhythm, empathy, and knowing exactly when a single, silent glance can speak louder than 1,000 words. By completely mastering the art of the subtle reaction, Jimin proved to millions of viewers worldwide that the most compelling and memorable presence on a chaotic global stage is often the one who knows exactly how to read the room from the quiet center of the storm. Number 2. The Cinematic Maverick, V. When entering the highly calculated environment of American late-night television, most international artists rely heavily on safe, conventional responses to avoid missteps. But Kim Taehyung completely shattered that paradigm by introducing a brilliant, highly sophisticated form of non-verbal, avant-garde wit. On the stage of the Ellen DeGeneres Show, V demonstrated an extraordinary level of artistic and psychological intelligence, recognizing instantly that television is a visual-first medium where a single, perfectly framed facial expression can carry far more comedic weight and cultural impact than a translated sentence. While his peers navigated the fast-paced English dialogue through verbal wit, V engaged in a masterclass of situational performance, treating the entire interview set as a live cinematic canvas where every tilt of his head, prolonged pause, and deep gaze was a deliberate, highly calculated comedic choice. His unique brilliance is deeply rooted in this absolute fearlessness and profound spatial awareness. He does not rush to fill silences, nor does he conform to the expected nervous energy of a foreign guest on a major Hollywood network. Instead, V routinely captured the undivided attention of both Ellen and the global audience by delivering incredibly rich, deadpan expressions that perfectly parroted the absurd, high-pressure nature of American talk shows. This distinct intellectual humor was fully displayed during the show's intense segments, where instead of looking anxious about the next rapid-fire question, V would casually lean back, sip his drink with exaggerated, royal composure, and look directly into the camera with a brilliant, knowing smirk that instantly communicated to millions of viewers that he was completely in on the joke. This wasn't accidental behavior. It was the highly intelligent strategy of a natural performer who knows exactly how to weaponize his unparalleled visual charisma to transcend language barriers entirely. When Ellen deployed her signature jump scare pranks, V's reaction became legendary because it completely inverted the host's expectations. While others jumped or screamed, V maintained an incredibly cool, almost entirely unbothered exterior, followed by a slow, theatrical, and deeply humorous realization of the scare that sent the studio audience into roars of laughter. He understood perfectly that in a Western media landscape saturated with loud, over-the-top reactions, and understated, highly stylized, and coolly confident response would stand out as genuinely iconic and deeply authentic. By choosing to play the role of a detached, effortlessly smooth observer who commands the room through sheer presence and precise eccentric timing, V successfully transformed what could have been a standard, predictable promotional interview into an unforgettable piece of performance art. His intelligence shines in his ability to maintain absolute control over his image while delivering maximum entertainment value, proving definitively that true comedic genius on the world's biggest stages belongs to the one who can completely master the mood of an entire audience without saying a single word. Number 1. The instinctive genius, Jungkook. When evaluating the ultimate combination of razor-sharp situational intelligence and effortless comedic timing on a major Western media stage, Kim Nam-joon himself famously pointed to the group's youngest member as the absolute smartest and naturally funniest when completely unprompted. On the high-pressure set of the Ellen DeGeneres Show, Jungkook demonstrated an extraordinary form of genius that does not rely on academic metrics or complex linguistic fluency, but on a profound, near superhuman level of sensory perception and rapid behavioral mimicry. As the golden magne, his intelligence is deeply rooted in an unparalleled ability to observe his surroundings like a hawk, instantly process the underlying social dynamics of a foreign environment, and react with a split-second precision that leaves seasoned Hollywood hosts completely stunned. While Western audiences often expect the youngest member of a global pop group to be passive, shy, or entirely dependent on a leader for guidance, Jungkook completely subverted this stereotype by demonstrating an absolute, fearless mastery over his own instincts. During their high-stakes interviews, as Ellen hurled fast-paced English questions and navigated unpredictable comedic bits, Jungkook sat in a state of hyper-awareness, watching the host's micro-expressions and the audience's reactions to map out the exact comedic rhythm of the room. He didn't wait for internal translations to understand when a moment demanded humor. Instead, he weaponized his incredible auditory and visual mimicry, catching the precise tone of American sarcasm and reflecting it back instantly through brilliant physical cues, perfectly timed English exclamations, and highly expressive facial reactions that regularly stole the entire spotlight. This instinctive genius reached its absolute historical peak during Ellen's notorious, heart-stopping jump scare segments, which are specifically designed by Hollywood producers to break a celebrity's composure and capture raw, unpolished panic on camera. When the hidden staff member violently erupted from the box right next to the group, triggering chaotic screams and wild physical tumbles from his older members, Jungkook's reaction was an absolute masterclass in elite reflexes and psychological dominance. While he was visibly startled for a fraction of a second, his brain processed the scare with lightning speed. Instead of cowering or losing control, he immediately absorbed the shock, stabilized his posture, and turned his own surprise into a brilliant, highly stylized comedic moment by looking directly at the host with an incredibly bold, unbothered, and playful challenge. This instant cognitive recovery showed millions of viewers worldwide that his mind operates at an elite frequency under pressure, allowing him to maintain absolute control over his narrative while delivering the exact viral, high-energy entertainment that American television thrives on. Furthermore, his verbal wit on the show was profoundly economical yet maximum in its impact. When he did speak in English, he didn't deliver rehearsed, generic answers, but instead used sharp, concise phrases delivered with a confident, effortless charm that perfectly matched the fast-paced energy of late-night TV. He understood implicitly that in the world of global entertainment, authenticity and lightning-fast adaptability are the highest forms of intelligence, and by completely trusting his raw instincts, he bridged the cultural divide effortlessly. Jungkook proved definitively that the most brilliant mind on a global stage isn't the one that calculates the most words, but the one that reads the human soul instantly, turns chaos into art, and conquers the world without ever breaking a sweat.